And we're live. All right, the top story we're talking about today is that red flag warning that's still going on and throughout much of the Sacramento Valley in Northern California. But there's also some other interesting things going on in the weather forecast for both NorCal and SoCal. So we'll be diving into all of that throughout the course of this video. As always, if you're watching this live, you can post any questions or concerns or forecast requests in the live chat, and I'll try my best to answer those questions towards the end of the video. So again, that's the top story we're talking about today, the red flag. Good place to start is just to look at the current conditions based on the satellite imagery, and you can see over basically the entire state of California doesn't look like we really have any clouds over us right now. You see these clouds right off the coast. That's going to be keeping the temperatures right along the coast in Southern California a few degrees cooler today as that marine layer hangs out, and as I'll show later in the video, actually might push in a little bit farther as we get into the afternoon. But for the most part, clear skies over much of California. We've got warm temperatures. Despite that red flag, I would say overall it's going to be a beautiful day throughout the state. And the reason for that is this high pressure system and this ridge that really started moving in a day or two ago. And over the next 2 days, it's just going to continue to strengthen. You can see all the way getting into Wednesday at this point, that ridge has officially moved in over the state. So we're actually going to start to see warmer temperatures on Wednesday, and it already is warm right now. So as of right now, let's go to about this morning, we were 10 to 15 degrees above average. As we get into this afternoon, we're actually going to transition to 20 to 25 degrees above average, and especially here in the Sacramento Valley. And it's no coincidence that where we have these warm temperatures is exactly where we have that red flag warning, because that's one of the key factors that goes into the wildfire forecast models. Temperature is one of them. We're going to be going over all of them throughout the course of this video though. So your high temperatures today should be about 20 to 25 degrees above average if you're in the valley. If you're along the bay, you're a little more moderated by the cooler ocean, so you're still warm, 5 to 10 degrees above average. Going down the central coast, you're about maybe 10 to 15. And then there in Southern California, where we're going to start to get some of that onshore push, you're still warmer than average, but not as extreme as parts of the valley. And then remember, I showed right here that that ridge was going to continue to build in all the way into Wednesday. So if we go forward, you can actually see it's going to continue to get warmer. By Wednesday afternoon, much of the valley is 25 to 30 degrees above average. The San Joaquin Valley, similar story down there. But you notice along the coast, you're actually in a more mild condition. So that's interesting. And I believe that has to do with the change in the winds. The winds are going to shift more onshore, which takes the cooler, moist air over the ocean and just pushes it right along the coast. So it should actually be a beautiful next few days if you're right along the coast here. If you're in the valley, it's going to get a bit hot. So these were the high temperatures from yesterday. We had Sacramento, 88 degrees, Santa Rosa, 81, Redding, 83. Watch as I click forward to the high temperatures today. You can see that warming trend as that ridge starts to move in is certainly bringing some of our temperatures up. Your high forecast for today for Sacramento, up to 93 degrees. San Francisco, again, you're a little more moderated because you're closer to the coast. Expecting 66 today, which is actually cooler than yesterday. That's because those onshore winds are coming in. But Chico, 91, Redding, 88. And then, like I said, the warming trend will continue into Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we're actually going to see majority of the valley in the mid-90s, and we could actually even get into the high 90s in some select locations. But once again, San Francisco actually just in the high 50s as those onshore winds and that marine layer really starts to come in and keep your temperatures a bit cooler right around the coast. So you can see warm temperatures, and a question you've probably been asking is, I said the red flag warning is expiring at 5 p.m. today. Actually, I don't know if I already said that, but that is what's happening. This red flag warning is expiring at 5 p.m. today, And that might actually be a little confusing since tomorrow is going to be even warmer than it is today. So to understand that, we have to look at the humidity and the wind. Something must be changing there that is allowing this red flag warning to expire. That's the three main things that go into a red flag warning. I would say the top two are winds and humidity, but temperatures certainly play a role because that does have a direct impact on your humidities. And all of that affects your fire danger. So temperatures certainly aren't the reason that red flag warning is expiring, because it's actually getting warmer tomorrow. So we'll look at the moisture or the relative humidity. You can see it's certainly going to be very dry out there today. The reason that's important is because the drier the air is, the drier the fuels are, and the easier it is for fires to start. So today, you can see the fuels are exceptionally dry. So that's part of the reason there's a warning for wildfire. If we go into tomorrow, we could see if it's going to ease up a little bit, and it doesn't. It looks like much of the valley where we have that red flag warning is still dry tomorrow, so that doesn't explain why the red flag warning is expiring either. That leaves one possible factor, and it must be the wind gusts. So you can see right now, we do still have some gusts going through the valley, stronger on the western parts of the valley that are up to, you can see 30 to 35 miles per hour, but watch what happens as we click through the day today. And then every time I click here, the winds seem to get calmer and calmer. By the time we're into the overnight hours tonight, the winds have calmed down to 15 miles per hour, and that's the wind gusts. I always look at wind gusts because that's what can really pick up embers and spread a fire. But if you look at the sustained winds, 7 miles per hour. So that explains why that red flag warning is expiring at 5 p.m. today. You can see at 5 p.m. today, the winds have significantly calmed down, and especially compared to what we were talking about yesterday in the forecast, where we had some gusts getting all the way up to 50 miles per hour. And just looking at Wednesday afternoon would be the key wildfire time, and you can see those winds don't pop back up to 35, 40 miles per hour. So again, that is why that red flag warning is expiring. So taking all that into account, thinking about throughout the day today, these winds are calming down as we're reaching those high temperatures and that dry air. It should be less fire danger than we had yesterday, and that looks like it is the case. Throughout yesterday, almost the entire Sacramento Valley here was in that very high fire danger. The whole thing was orange, in other words, and we even had some spots in there where you had this, I don't know what you'd call that, burgundy, maroon, dark red. We had a few even extreme fire danger areas in the valley. You can see, looking a lot better today. And as those winds continue to calm down, it should be looking even better tomorrow. But there is still a red flag warning in place right now. Basically what that means is it's easier for a fire to start, and then if a fire does start, it'd be easier for it to spread. But I would say this certainly, looking at all the conditions, it looks better than the forecast was looking yesterday, and tomorrow should just continue to improve. Now, one interesting thing you might notice on this map is Southern California does not have any red flags over their location, but they're going to be rather warm and in some cases windy today as well. So let's try to look into Southern California to see why they don't have a red flag. So these were the high temperatures from yesterday. Bakersfield 86, Santa Maria 71, Los Angeles 72, and then as you start to get into the desert, you're in the low to mid 90s. If we look at the high temperatures for today, you can see it's going to be warming. Bakersfield up to 95, might even reach the high 90s in some parts of the San Joaquin Valley. Los Angeles possibly going to hit the low 80s today. Right now it's just showing 79. And then San Diego 64, it should actually be beautiful down there. So looks like that warming trend is continuing for SoCal. Let's see if they're looking warmer on Wednesday just like NorCal. And it looks like they are. It looks like Bakersfield forecasted to actually get into the triple digits on Wednesday afternoon. I'd be interested to know if that would be the first triple digit of the new season. I'll have to look into that and let you guys know what I find. maybe if you have access to a computer and you're watching this right now, maybe try to see if any parts of California have hit the triple digits yet in the last couple months. And let me know in the live chat and I'll be able to share that at the end of the video. So again, Wednesday afternoon, Los Angeles expected to get up to 80, Riverside up to 88. So that is certainly some warm temperatures. So to understand why they don't have a red flag, again, we'd have to look at the other two factors. First one, looking at the wind gusts, I think that explains it right there. Looking at the wind gusts right here, there's not much going on. If we look at where the Santa Anas usually come in this mountain range right here, sometimes we'll see winds coming through here at 60, 70 miles per hour. And you can see right now, 18 mile per hour wind gusts. Sustained winds would even be less than that, around 3 miles per hour. So that's why that red flag warning is not in Southern California. There's just not enough winds to warrant one. What you do notice though is these winds, it almost looks like they're rotating in a counterclockwise circulation, which would almost mean a low pressure system right there. And you can actually see this on the satellite imagery. There are those clouds off the coast in Southern California, and you can see how they're actually circulating counterclockwise. Well, that is actually going to change throughout the day today, which I think is also part of the reason SoCal doesn't have a red flag warning. If we click into later today, first thing you might think is, oh, the wind gusts are coming up. They're getting up over 30 miles per hour. They should have a red flag warning. But you notice which direction these winds are coming from. They're coming from the ocean, which means they're taking this cooler, moist air and pushing it over much of the coastal cities, versus the scary wildfire events in Southern California are when you get offshore wind events. That's what you call the Santa Anas, where they take these extremely warm temperatures and dry air from inland and blow them down through the mountains and canyons, causing some fire danger there. So my favorite way to look at this map is actually looking at the humidity, because I think that explains this even better. You notice that much of the coast right here already has this strip of cooler temperatures. So you can just see the difference you have in not a very large amount of space. You go from an 82 degrees in Corona to 64 degrees in Newport Beach. And watch what happens as those onshore winds come in today. The area that those cooler temperatures and that moist air is reaching to moves further inland. You can actually just see it continue to expand right there. And by the time you're getting into the overnight hours and tonight, your humidities are up to almost 100% throughout many of your coastal cities. So that's encouraging to see. Although we have some wind gusts coming in the afternoon, they're coming from the right direction if you're concerned about wildfire. Now, the one thing that will bring, though, on your coastal cities throughout the afternoon today, let's see if they're already there. Yep, looks like your coast will be in that cooler temperature range. Once those winds push offshore, that means the marine layer will most likely move in with it, most likely lead to some clouds along the coast. So it may in fact not be a great beach day if that marine layer does decide to really sink in and bring some fog with it. I'll have to keep checking the cameras throughout the day today. So that's what it looks like right now. What I'm going to be interested to see, as of right now, it looks like those clouds are pushing off from the coast and that marine layer is dissipating. But what I'm going to be interested in seeing is if, as those winds turn off onshore, if some of these clouds can actually push back into your coastal cities. If that happens, it'll keep your temperatures a few degrees cooler, but again, won't be as nice as it would be if it was just a beautiful, warm, sunny day. So all of that in mind, that is why this area of Southern California, when we look at it on the fire danger map, is just low to moderate fire danger. You have warm temperatures, you have some winds, but the winds are coming from the ocean, so that's actually keeping you a few degrees cooler than you otherwise would have been. So I'm going to check the live chat right now, just see if we've had any questions or if you have any forecast requests for your city. I could just search it up right now, tell you what your weather's looking like. And it looks like somebody actually sent a super chat from EFO. Thank you very much for your generosity. That I do these forecasts just for fun. It's a great way to practice my forecasting skills. But when people show appreciation like that, it certainly is great to see. So I'll allow you guys 30 seconds to post any questions that you might have. In the meantime, I can just do a quick summary of our forecast. There's a red flag warning in Northern California. Overall, we have clear skies throughout much of the state. It's going to be, for the most part, a beautiful warm day throughout majority of the state. Now, with that being said, we are going to have some warmer temperatures as this ridge starts to push in Tuesday and Wednesday. That's especially on Wednesday going to bring some temperatures to the northern parts of the Sacramento Valley, 25 to 30 degrees above average, while much of the state is at least 5 to 15 degrees above average. So our temperatures throughout the day today, throughout much of the valley, we're in the low to mid 90s. Along the coast, we're in the high 60s to the 70s. And then those winds are going to start to calm down. And that's the reason the red flag warning will be going away. With all that being said, there is still some fire danger here, but it's certainly looking better than yesterday. And I think tomorrow is going to look even better than today as those winds continue to calm down. So that's the red flag warning right there. We're going to see that disappear, hopefully at about 5 p.m. tonight as the winds have officially calmed down. Southern California doesn't have a red flag. It's not because of the temperatures, because they certainly have some warm temperatures. Bakersfield getting up to 95, Los Angeles possibly hitting the low 80s today. But the winds are going to switch to an onshore direction throughout later today and getting into this evening. That's going to bring some moisture and some cooler air into the coastal cities and even farther inland, which will certainly help to bring some of that much needed moisture to our fuels. So for that reason, Southern California in this low to moderate fire danger, and let's hope that continues throughout the rest of the week. So it looks like we did get one question here from Thomas Paulson. Says, how much do you think El Nino impacts the higher than average temperatures? That is a great question, and I think a good way to answer it would be to show an El Nino graphic for California, because depending on where you are across the state, El Nino will actually impact you in different ways. So I think that one, this looks like it could be a good image here. Let's see if it'll decide to pop up. Internet's a bit slow as I have the live chat, the live stream, and many things open. So it says, this graphic says wetter weather in Southern California. That certainly wasn't the case this year, as we had 50% of our average rainfall. I'm actually going to check one of my fellow graduate students at San Jose State. He's doing his thesis on El Nino and La Nina. So I'll actually ask him about this and get back to you on that information. So I think the big factor contributing to California weather right now really is what I just mentioned as the lack of rainfall that we've had so far this year. We're at about 50% average of what our rainfall should be, and I think that's actually the big thing that's driving our weather throughout the state. So you can actually see it right here. We've got severe to extreme drought throughout much of the state right here. And again, that's because of the lack of rainfall that we had throughout this year. I won't get into this too much today, but I think that is going to be one of the key things we'll be talking about for the next maybe 5 to 6 months is that lack of rainfall. What I'm hoping is that we can possibly get one more big storm. Actually, just for fun, let's see if there are any more low pressure systems coming in after this ridge. See if there's any hope on the horizon of another storm. Looks like there's a possible little low pressure system coming in Friday. That'll likely bring some cooler temperatures, but it looks pretty weak, so I'd be surprised if that brought any rain with it. I bet Washington and Oregon will be getting some rain with that one, but it looks like right after that we just go into another giant ridge pattern, which would mean some more warm, dry conditions. So unfortunately, we're getting to the part of the season where California is often warm and dry. Actually, it depends on your outlook. If you like that, if you like the warm temperatures, and then you'll love this time of the year. My main focus is always wildfire, so I would certainly like one or two more big storms. But with that being all the questions we have today, once again, thank you to Thomas for your question and Ifo for the nice super chat. You could stay tuned for tomorrow, where we'll look at the forecast again and see how much warmer those temperatures might get as that ridge continues to come in. Oh, we actually got another comment from Steven Rogers. Says, EF1 tornado hit my part of Kentucky yesterday. How fast are the winds in an EF1? So we'll actually answer that right now. We'll say tornado scale. And first thing I'd have to say is I'm so sorry to hear that a tornado hit your area. Again, that was from Steven Rogers. Hopefully you're totally okay. Hopefully your house is fine, your family is fine. But tornado scale winds. Let's check it out. So 3 more rows. Looks like, so it's the enhanced Fujita scale. Looks like an EF5 gets over 200 miles per hour. EF1 is 86 to 110 miles per hour, and that has to be for a 3-second gust. So that is certainly some strong winds right there. You hear EF1 and it doesn't sound like it's anything extreme, but 86 to 110 miles per hour is certainly more than I've ever felt in my life. So hopefully everything is okay and you're doing all right, Steven. So Thomas, we got another one. I'm excited to hear back about what your friend thinks. I didn't know El Nino was supposed to increase rain in California. I wish I could have found a better graphic here. And you know what? I got time, so let's just try to find a better one. El Nino graphic for California. Let's say conditions, because so my main focus is on fire weather and meteorology. So I honestly haven't looked all that much into the different climate indices and the effects or climate patterns and the effects they have on us. So I'm actually interested to know the answer to this question as well. So not really seeing any good graphics here. You know what? This might be a great idea for a video. I think in the next week or two, I might try to research El Nino and La Nina. Certainly I have to it's certainly apparent that I need to look into this as well. And then maybe I'll put together a little video and post it to my channel once I get that done. I think that would be a good thing, not only to answer this question, but for me to know in the future. So thanks for all the great questions. I think we'll wrap it up right here. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another California weather forecast. Hope you have a good day and enjoy that beautiful warm weather.